And as always, we have to bring you the review of the newspapers. We have a couple of stories also on various online portals. As always, our main concern will be myjoyonline.com. Please, you can go visit myjoyonline.com. Get a lot more of the stories that have been posted there over the last few minutes, over the last 12 hours too. But I have Joseph Akable, and now become a regular feature on the show. Joseph, how are you?
I'm fine, Roland.
I particularly love your shoe. Not a lot of people see it though, but I know the cameras can't get there, but they can see it. Nice. You should get me one. How are you?
I'm fine, Roland.
How was your weekend?
The weekend was
Today's Wednesday.
The week has already started. We are already midweek.
We're midweek.
Yeah.
I think I'm Colo now. But we've had some interesting stories dominating the headlines over the last 12 hours.
Yeah. At least the issues about the CID and some former government appointees, we can quickly predict that that story will dominate the newspapers.
Okay, so that's why you're here. Let's look at the newspapers. So we're looking at the Daily Guide first.
Yes, Daily Guide first says double pay scandal. CID probes 25 NDC ministers. There is a photograph of Afotiagbo. There is that of Haruna Idrisu, Atuforsin, and Mahama Ayariga. So we are told that the CID has written letters to 25 NDC ministers. Yesterday, the minority addressed the press conference. They say that the CID has withdrawn 18 of those letters, saying that there were mistakes that they made. So the letters don't hold anymore. But the other 7 individuals, they are still investigating them, that they were ministers, they were members of parliament, and they were paid double salaries. So the minority, they are accusing government of hiding behind the CID to harass them. They say they are planning to address a press conference to talk about the economy and some issues that
they wanted to talk about the bond too, you know, based on what the projections are from this month to about June, July. We're supposed to be getting about 11 billion from the market.
And just the morning when they were supposed to address that, they see in the front page of the papers the story about some 25 NDC ministers receiving double salary. So they decided to, they claim government wants to divert that attention. And yesterday we heard some of them, like Isaac Adongo is on the finance committee, saying that the finance minister cannot run from the country, and that come what may, they'll talk about it.
We'll see how that goes. That will be dominating some headlines some other time, but this time it's a story, and basically it's featured on the front page of the Daily Guide.
Yes, the other story says Mahama runs away from U.S. military deal. Capital Bank boss arrested. There's a photograph of Reverend Fitzgerald Odonko. We also have AG allays fears of Opuni over documents. That case is back in court this morning. It formally starts. The AG is expected to call her first witness.
You're going to be there, aren't you?
Certainly.
Right.
And Dr. Opuni has asked for all documents the AG wants to rely on against him, and the AG says, I'm going to give you everything you want.
Well, it's still controversial. So once it's in court, it means we can't just discuss it adequately.
The merits.
Okay, so what can we discuss around the case?
At least we can say that what we can.
The new move by his team.
Yes, we can talk about how the lawyers will argue why they should be given the documents because I mean.
So they want those documents to strengthen their case.
Yes, they want a witness statement the Yoko officials took from him. All documents in the custody of the PPA, the Public Procurement Authority, Cocoa Board, and also that the ones that had to do with the fertilizer, how they decided to outsource it to Agriculture Limited. So the AG will now argue either for or against that particular motion. When she opts to give it to them, like she has indicated, then the court will just go ahead and allow her to hand the documents to them. If she disagrees, then the judge will have to rule on that matter.
We'll see how that goes. Which other stories do we have?
Okay, so that is all for in terms of the Daily Guide, but that bit about the Capital Bank boss arrested, you recall Capital Bank and what happened. The story is that
so it means that the former boss of Capital Bank has been arrested.
That is what the Daily Guide is reporting. But yesterday we had run our own checks and were told that he had appeared at Yoko, he was questioned, and he was allowed to leave. Yes, but a guide is reporting that he has been arrested.
But it's all premised on the fact that Yoko is still looking at the whole liquidation or demise of the two banks, and the focus now is on Capital Bank. Is that not it? We'll see how that goes with it. We have the Ghanaian Times.
The Ghanaian Times reports minority kicks against national security investigation into visa scandal. We are told some 30 journalists deported.
30? Only 30? I thought initially they were being told that there were 50.
The number has come down to 30. That is what we've seen so far, and it has been referred to national security by the sports ministry to look into it. And the argument by the minority is that they suspect a cover-up by government.
Oh, it means some names have been deleted.
Possibly.
Well, they've been deported though, but they just not be made public.
Yeah.
So then, okay. So I saw some lists over the last 24 hours surfacing on some platforms and social media, on which I am, and supposedly names representing media houses, some of which really are non-existent.
I've engaged some of the individuals. There are people who are actually journalists.
Yes, there were some genuine journalists who were.
But
I think there were one or two.
Those individuals were also not in Australia. So they say that they applied for the visa.
They applied for.
They were not given.
They wanted to be participants to go and cover. But they were not given a place.
Yes.
So
yet someone has been deported, and among the list of the deportees, their names are included.
So it means somebody's representing them.
Yes, and it makes sense why such a person will be deported if it's actually happened, because the story says that when they were confronted about being journalists, they couldn't even provide any identification. Because if you're indeed Roland Walker and you work with JoyNews and you are covering an event and you are apprehended or they call upon you, you should be able to justify that.
Because notably, we've been told that apart from the monies that they paid in sums ranging from $8,000 to about $20,000 US, some of them couldn't even mention the schools that they went, even the media houses that they went. Some
to have an idea of
a
what
clue
about
how it is to be a journalist, and even the names of the members of the Ghana team in the various disciplines. But
still on the Ghanaian Times, it says chief arrested for fraud and police depots basic schools accused of charging unapproved fees. We also have AG, that's the Auditor General, probes ghost projects allegedly funded from petroleum revenue last year. That is a fallout from the press conference addressed by PIAC. We are told that 50% of projects that have been listed as being financed with petroleum funds, we said they are ghost projects.
Okay, so those projects, they're not extractive or petroleum related projects.
Yeah,
they are not.
They are not.
Only that the proceeds from the petroleum
sector is being used to finance
those projects. And those projects, really, 50% of them
exist
on paper. In the actual, on the ground, physically, they don't exist. And so it means people were paid based on what? Certificates were raised?
It means that monies have been allocated. So it could be that the monies have
have those allocations been expended?
That is what is, at least the monies have moved from the state coffers. That PIAC is saying. But what PIAC goes on to say again
is PIAC say that?
The point about it is that the project cannot be seen on the ground. So it says the Auditor General is to begin investigation into circumstances under which about 50% of projects supposedly funded from the country's petroleum revenue last year does not exist. So supposedly funded, it means that the monies have moved, it has been funded, but you're supposed to see them on the ground. But that is not the case. So according to PIAC, inspections undertaken to the project site between 2016 and 2017 to ascertain the level of work done revealed that no such project existed.
So did they pay for them?
The funded projects, again, using the word the funded projects, from the annual budget funding amount were inspected in regions including the Upper West, Upper East, Northern, Ashanti, Eastern, Greater Accra, and Volta. So they wanted Auditor General.
So how about the projects? The allocations were made for the projects. The funds moved from that coffers where it's supposed to be to maybe the ministry, but they didn't get dispensed
to the person who is supposed to execute.
No, or even on the project in the meantime. So maybe with the ministry or something. I
think all those are issues that the Auditor General can put to rest if he goes ahead.
Well, true. You're right. You're right. What's on the back page?
The back page, some football, Liberty test for Ash Gold there. Right. So that is the Premier League, the Ghana Premier League. And Ponsa Amwa landing 200-meter semis. That is that Australia event where.
Oh, the Gold Coast Games.
Yeah. Where
I see.
We are talking about visa issues rather than.
So at least we have an athlete who is in the 200-meter semi-final.
We had one lady make it to the final, but she placed 8 out of 8.
You mean last?
Yeah, but 8 out of 8.
I love your diplomacy. It's not bad. Now, before you look at the other one, let me just look at the Daily Dispatch newspaper. So we have on the front page of the Daily Dispatch newspaper, MPP National Chairmanship race, Freddie Blay here. Freddie Blay is the man to beat. Is he? You're called Blay. You're related to him?
Yes, but the point about the contest, I think...
we shelved it away, but that's okay.
It will be an interesting race. I mean, he's not... someone who has been through and through an NPP for a long time. You know, he was with the CPP before he crossed carpet to join the NPP. He was first vice chairman. He became
he's
chairman,
done commendably.
He has led them into power, and it depends on who you want to give credit to. But there are other questions about whether people are comfortable with him being a chairperson, especially when they see him as more or less being someone who was just a stopgap person.
Okay, so like he's not from their stock.
Exactly, true and true. But the other question is who the president decides to back as well. That will also
it's
come
important.
Up. Very important.
And if the president decides to back loses, it means that
we may have a situation like the MPP had before the elections,
yes,
where you don't have the flag bearer
the speculation
and the chairman on the same page. So it makes it very difficult for the party to.
There's one personality though who is on the front page of the Daily Dispatch, Mr. Stephen Team. I remember I used to interview back in the day. I think from 2004 he expressed interest in the race. He's been on for a number of years now, still hasn't won it. Looks like he looks like the president himself. He's a man who never gives up.
Maybe he may be lucky this time around. The president had to try. On the third occasion, he was successful. So maybe he's taking a cue from him. But for a party that is in power, they definitely want to win the 2020 election. So one will expect them to kind of want to keep the same front that ensured success in 2016. But if you are not delivering for the grassroots, you promise them jobs. If you've come into power, you are not being able to use your power by sitting in cabinet meetings to get them jobs. They seem to get party members jobs. You cannot expect them to use this against them. People who are new are not in power to use it against those executives and ask the party foot soldiers to vote against them. That is the delegate to be taking part.
Wow, you sound like a staff of Cambridge Analytica. That's interesting. But let's move on. We have payment of $130,000 US to Pawn Star in the FBI raid on Trump's lawyer. That's subject of international reporting. The speculation are always rife in the U.S. media and elsewhere about Donald Trump and his things he's done, especially prior to being the president and even decades as a private businessman. Meteo warns of heavy rains. Yeah, we're told that 24 hours before yesterday's rains, I had gotten some alerts that there will be some rains. It was coming from Lagos. I don't know whether you got that one. There was one that said that there was some winds were coming from Lagos, so we should expect some rain. So when around 2 a.m. it started raining, I said, oh, okay.
You're expecting it?
The meteorological agency were right for...
I mean, we should give them some credit and cut them some slack.
I think now they have the right equipment. They're good. They've always been good, though. So
we can do the Herald. The Herald is reporting Opuni sues Daily Guide newspaper for 2 million cedis. There's a photograph of Dr. Stephen Opuni. It has to do with some publication that the paper
That's 2 million.
Out.
Why is it that everybody who wants to sue for defamation or any form of damages is always going for 2 million? Is it a cap? Not that you know.
No, there's no cap as far as I know. I mean,
you can go for as much as you can.
Yeah, but logically, from experience, no matter the huge amount you mentioned, the court will always beat it down. I mean,
okay.
The court will
so how does it work? If you go, there's always an ADR process, right? They always say you can go.
It depends on the approach of the person you're accusing of defaming you. If the person accepts, I mean, it ends quickly. The court can decide, okay, so how much do you think?
But in this instance, Dr. Opuni is suing for damages because...
Yes, they published a story saying that Opuni has used cocoa board money recklessly.
And that's yesterday or 2 days ago?
That was about 2 days ago. Right, and his lawyers, in the documents they filed, they are arguing that he's someone, the publication sought to suggest that he's incompetent and he had caused cocoa board to lose the money. But they say that he's someone who is known not to be incompetent. So he's competent and also a man of virtue. For which reason they think the publication has defamed him and is libelous, and they want that amount to be paid. They also want apology to be rendered after retraction of the story. They want it published 4 times consecutively, different weeks. So this week he published it 1, the following week another time, 4 times. Apart from paying for the cost of legal fees and filing those documents, that is apart from the 2 million cedis that they want. So it will be a big one. We'll see how Daily Guide will be arguing that. Daily Guide,
they're used to this, so. Yeah. Sure. I think they've got a thick skin for it. Which other stories dominate the front page of the Herald?
New twist to Commonwealth Games scandal. Sports journalists left shocked at use of their names as number of smuggled individuals increased. So that's what I was.
Your name was not there, was it?
Not at all. I mean,
Joseph Akablay, Gold Coast.
Did you check for Roland Walker?
Nobody knows me, so I'm a low-profile journalist. I'm told Benedito Osu, his name.
Yeah, his name was used, but he was right here in the country.
Oh, he went to Australia.
He was not in Australia.
Benedito Osu.
I'm sure you have some answers for you when you come.
I'm sure. Well, so we have the daily graphic.
Daily graphic says pass LI for defense pact. That is according to Occupy Ghana, talking about the joint cooperation agreement between Ghana and the US, and petroleum projects non-existent revenue not used for intended purposes is coming from.
Okay. So that's it, right?
Yeah.
It means the revenue necessarily may not have been dispersed to so-called contractors, but rather it may have been diverted.
But if it remains on the books that it was used for those projects, then...
Well, there have been many monies or sums that have been allocated over the years, I mean, in the Fourth Republic, which ideally were supposed to have been used for certain things, but sometimes may have been diverted for other budgetary purposes and things. I think
we have a lot.
We're not saying that is right, but that's why PIAC is there to look at some of those indiscretions.
Nagrat's cause of strike is also being reported by Daily Graphic, and NDC officials did not take double pay. That is according to the minority in Parliament. So that has also been captured by the Daily Graphic. But Nagrat, the strike, how long did it last? Less than a week? I think some few days.
Well, really? I think it's 12-hour strike. It didn't last a day.
I recall the Information Minister, the day they declared a strike, he said that...
Mustafa Hamid? Dr. Mustafa Hamid?
Dr. Mustafa Hamid. I mean, he said it was dead on arrival because we've disbursed the money. Nagrat was like, no,
we haven't received anything.
We haven't received it, but...
And even instructively, I'm told that they declared a strike when the schools were on holidays. Or maybe they had just started a vacation.
They were actually on holidays, like you said. I mean, and
I was surprised.
And what's interesting was that they are writing the WASI exam.
Okay.
And if you know, for the WASI exam,
all right,
the only services the teachers provide is that they invigilate for the students. And even in that case, they are paid by WAEC. So it meant that whether strike or no strike, they couldn't decide not to go and invigilate. They had to go and invigilate anyways. Yeah, so it means that...
But the schools engage them to teach students.
They assist students in those times. But I don't think if you're a teacher...
The schools may not be doing it with the GES, but they have the PTA. So yes, the schools and the PTA,
but I don't think
decide to institute such and engage a student and engage the teachers to pay them. And the teachers can say, won't do it.
Well, but I don't see a situation where
because you'll be paid.
A teacher who has prepared a student for WASI and they are just about writing it, you go on strike and not help your students. Because, mind you, there are courses that you also handle. You want them to perform well in those subjects.
Yeah, to have a certain reflection on your reputation. Yeah. That's you're a very good teacher. Yeah. I agree with you.
Okay. So I think the strike didn't really... The money had been paid, it didn't yield much.
Yeah, that's good. But it means that for our government, we're not being peculiar with the MPP government. For our government in the Fourth Republic, when you strike, you get your things. Yeah. Nurses want employment, they strike, they'll get things done. Trotro people want reduction in fuel prices, they strike, it will be done.
I think it's all about competing needs. We have few resources, we have a lot of problems. Right. So if you are loud about a problem, we'll say, oh, okay, you're also around. Yeah. Give you some money.
Generally, we're never loud about anything. But it's also because we're not employed largely by government. That's why.
That's true.
Yeah.
At least we don't hear much
about private employees, even if you undertake strike, they'll bring somebody to come and work on your place.
The unemployment situation, there are lots of people looking for jobs.
Well, are you done?
Yes, with the Daily Graphic.
You've gone to the back page.
150 SHS matrons attend food safety training, and police intercept 105 parcels of suspected cannabis. Talk of the police, I expected one story. I've not seen it in any of the papers.
Which is
yesterday. They launched a motorbike unit of a sort.
Yes. And so the director, Patrick Gomez, will bring us, is it not the police service?
Yes.
Though we're going to recall that story of the police service displaying their skills, part of efforts to combat crime.
Yes, because they realize that a lot of the criminals use motorbikes these days.
Let's see how it goes with a story in which the police service has trained personnel to deal with the Okada armed robbers we have around.
This batch of motorbike patrol team was taken through physical endurance as part of the training to prepare them for any crime. They were also trained on weapon handling while on the bike, handcuffing aggressive and submissive suspect, vehicle and suspect search. They were taken through an intense defense training by the counter-terrorism unit to fight crime. The team, made up of 59 officers, displayed how they will handle a car snatching incident at gunpoint.
The second part of the display, the motorbike display, is a scenario enacted by these gallant men where a car has, so first team has been dispatched to block the car that has been snatched by these robbers. They are fully armed, and we have a backup. We have others on board, led by their leader, and they are fully armed. So we see how the motor riders to disarm these robbers and arrest them for them to face the full rigors of the law.
The IGP warned criminals who use motorbikes to perpetrate their activities will not be spared. He assured more measures will be rolled out in the coming days to curb crime trends.
Let me sound a word of warning to criminal elements in our society, especially those who are in the habit of using motorbikes to commit crimes. The few of you cannot take all of us hostage. This new squad, supported by other operation teams, are poised and will not be kind with you when you are caught in the act. The advent of the usage of motorbikes in perpetuating violent crime pushed the police administration to create this special squad who are trained with the capacity to respond.
And somebody who is watching us this morning says that that's a commendable thing to do. The chief executive for the Wembley Sports complex, that is Robert Coleman. Good morning to you. But that's a good thing as well, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the criminals, they make use of the motorbikes. You know that, especially when they rob in broad daylight and they are making a getaway with the motorbikes and they are using the vehicles, no matter the siren, there are areas that are traffic prone and they are likely to escape from the police officers. So this is good. I mean, people are also raising concerns about the fact that they've just outdoored their plan. The guys will now need to, the armed robbers who are also watching the news will also change their strategy. But there's a psychological impact to this. I mean, if you're a criminal and you're watching it and you intend to go and rob today and you're going to use a motorbike, you think twice. So at least you postpone it a bit. So it's a two-way situation.
But the police have a certain culture of poor maintenance of their facilities, equipment and accoutrement. I don't know. They've had bikes before, perhaps not purpose for this. And I don't know how long they can keep going on with this strategy.
We just expect them to take good care of them. We know that some vehicles are also coming in. This bit about some bulletproof vehicles that were bought for the presidency and some diverted to buy some vehicles for them. We are told they will be coming in very soon. So,
you mean the Toyota?
Yes, the
Corolla.
Toyota Corollas. We are told those ones are largely for administration. But the president had also indicated that they are also buying some vehicles for them to use on the ground in terms of fighting crime. So, I mean, a lot of funds being put in the police force. We expect them to give their best. While we go to sleep, we want to be safe.
All right, so let's have a cursory look at the front page of the Finder. Has on the front page, oil cash project variations cost 122.8 million Ghana just for 11 projects between 2011 and 2016 due to delays, and President decorates outgoing Chinese ambassador. That's on page 10, Isle of China. Let me see whether I can take a look at some stories there. It says that the president has decorated the Chinese ambassador Sam Bao-hong with the Order of Star of Ghana. That's good. And Her Excellency Sam Bao-hong had been in Ghana for a number of years, and we say congratulations, Your Excellency. You've done good work. Well, that'll be it for now. Now we have to go to the online portals. Go to myjoyonline.com. We'll start with our own as always. And we'll get My Joy Online ready very soon. But did you watch any of the football matches yesterday? Do you love football?
I follow. But my team was kicked out yesterday. Barcelona.
Oh, that one. Yeah, you know that fine guys, they like Barcelona. They like free-flowing football. You know, romance. Fine guys, they like romance. I love you, I miss you, I miss you. That kind of business. That kind of football.
I was actually shocked. I mean, when I...
Shocked?
Yeah,
I was surprised too. I mean, Barcelona, because they, in the first leg, had won at the...
4-1 at the Camp Nou. 4-1.
No, 3-1. Or 4-1.
It ended 4-1. I mean, in fact, 2 of the goals were scored by AS Roma players. Own goals. 2 of them, then we managed to score 2 goals. So 4-1. Then you
and this won 3-0.
Unanswered goals. I mean, it simply beats my mind. And already some jokes on social media. They say that even Jesus Christ, the Romans killed him. How much more you, Messi?
We'll see how that goes. But Messi was mercilessly beaten yesterday. But we know that he'd been competing this season with Cristiano Ronaldo to become the next best player for the current season. And I don't know, but usually also who becomes the best player is also influenced
who wins the Champions League
and then the World Cup.
This is a World Cup year, and both of them are at level pegging. I understand. So it means whoever wins takes a lead of a sort. So if Ronaldo has the opportunity this evening,
but Messi will win a lot more because Messi is younger than Ronaldo. Ronaldo is older. Will retire earlier than Messi. So.
That is if he can keep that form. If Messi can keep that form.
Yeah, so, well, Dennis Thompson, our son, is telling me nobody knows tomorrow. To my refrain about retirement of Ronaldo earlier than Messi. Nobody knows tomorrow. All right, so let's look at myjoyonline.com. It's ready, and so we do a review of myjoyonline.com. It will be up in a bit, and then we'll look at what stories are dominating the pages on myjoyonline.com. But we're ready now, aren't we, Joseph?
Yeah. So myjoyonline.com has the first story: national security bust 5. It has to do with sale of premixed fuel. We are told that some individuals are engaged in the illegal sale of the premixed fuel. They've been picked up, so we can see that quickly. So that's the first story on myjoyonline.com. National security bust 5 in latest oil smuggling scheme. The NPN.
This one, Billy
National
people.
Security has arrested 5 persons suspected
it's
to be
Billy. When you grew up around Tema, there's something you call Billy. You know the siphoning of fuel. This one is just small gallons. We're talking about those. Sometimes vessels could be siphoned. Huh?
They are part of the cartel. That's what the story says.
Oh, these are downstream people. This one's only some few thousands of Ghana cities.
They don't make much.
There are players that do it with millions of dollars involved.
Okay,
there's a lot of money in the petroleum industry.
I see. So the other stories on myjoyonline.com. Winner takes all politics destroying Ghana is coming from former Information Minister Fritz Bafo.
And also Member of Parliament.
Yeah.
Fritz Bafo.
Also an actor.
Yeah, actor, comedian, writer.
When life frowns on you.
Is that an opinion?
Opinion piece
I'm sure something on lifestyle.
Yeah. You can do some more stories still on myjoyonline.com. 19 years of consistency, the long journey to Israel. There's a photograph of our colleague Izzy, as we call him here in the office, Israel Lai, talking about. He was on Personality Profile last week.
Israel Lai.
Yeah.
The man, he's a very handsome man. Huh?
He's your good friend, I mean.
Yeah. We used to work back at TV3. He was my lead person,
Okay, Nana Konedu leads
Congratulations
government.
to him, though.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
he's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
Doesn't like talking that much, but
and he's not as troublesome as you are. I mean,
he's not as troublesome as
you are.
Yeah, sometimes those who are quiet, you have to watch them well. They do things in secret.
Well, I don't know what you think of this story. Nana Konedu leads government delegation.
I find it quite interesting. I saw it in the latter part of the evening. And she's supposed to lead a delegation.
Yeah, the government.
And
delegation.
so I wanted to. I was looking at why not the first lady and her, but then I also said, well, Winnie Mandela was not the first lady in the real sense for a long time.
Yeah.
So never know.
But just a short while ago, we were talking about winner takes all. Maybe this is a bit of diversion. Why let someone from the NDC or NDP?
Really?
I don't know.
No, this is not what leads to proper winner takes all. Proper
she's leading
blending of both traditions.
Ghana government delegation.
Yeah, but that's a good thing. I think that she's played a great role in Ghana and the lives of most women, formatively, in the way they grew up and influence a lot more women to be strong. So we can't take people out of our history. And she's a formidable person in that formidable history.
Sure. So some other stories, myjoyonline.com. Away from the Konedu story there. So,
all right, so that'll be it for now. We have other stories there. As always, please make sure that you log on to myjoyonline.com. Get a lot more of the stories. But also on Facebook, JoyNews on TV. We have a page there. Go check us out and watch us live through our regular channel on YouTube, My Joy Online TV.